Imagine this: you're sitting in a quiet room, holding your tiny newborn in your arms. Their skin is soft, they're breathing calm, and their little mouth is searching for comfort and nourishment. You want to give them the very best start, and breastfeeding feels like such a natural way to do it. But then, the questions start. Am I doing this right? Is my baby getting enough milk? Why does it hurt sometimes? If you've ever had those thoughts, you're not alone. Every mother, no matter how prepared she feels, faces this moment of uncertainty. Today, I'll walk you through how to breastfeed properly, step by step, so you can feel confident, comfortable, and connected with your baby during every feed. Let's start by talking about what proper breastfeeding really means. It's not about perfection or following a strict rule book. It's about creating a peaceful rhythm between you and your baby, one that feels natural, safe, and loving. Proper breastfeeding simply means your baby is well latched, feeding effectively, and you're both comfortable. When that balance is there, feeding becomes less stressful and more about bonding, a moment of quiet love between mother and child. So, let's take this step by step, beginning with the setup, your position, your mindset, and your baby's comfort. Before every feeding, take a deep breath. Find a quiet, relaxed space if possible. You don't need to be in a perfect position every time. Sometimes it'll be on the couch, sometimes in bed, sometimes even standing. What matters most is that both you and your baby are supported. Your back shouldn't ache, your arms shouldn't feel strained, and your baby should be held close enough so their nose is level with your nipple. Now, let's talk about latching. This is the heart of successful breastfeeding. A good latch can make all the difference between comfort and pain, between worry and confidence. Start by holding your baby close with their tummy facing yours. Remember, tummy to tummy. Their head, shoulders, and hips should all be in a straight line. Gently tickle their lips with your nipple until they open their mouth wide, almost like a big yawn. When they do, bring them toward your breasts, not the other way around. Let them take in not just the nipple but a good part of the areola too. When your baby latches properly, you'll notice a few clear signs. Their chin touches your breast, their nose is close but not buried, and their lips are flanged outward, like a little fish. You might feel a gentle tugging sensation, but it shouldn't hurt or pinch. You'll also hear slow, steady suckling sounds, and maybe a soft swallow every few moments. These are all signs that milk is flowing and your baby is feeding well. Now, here's something that often surprises new moms. Breastfeeding isn't always perfect right away, and that's okay. Both you and your baby are learning together. Sometimes, it takes a few tries before you both find your rhythm. If you feel sharp pain, if your nipple looks flattened or creased after feeding, or if your baby seems frustrated or fussy, that might mean the latch needs adjusting. In that case, gently insert your finger into the corner of your baby's mouth to break the suction, reposition them, and try again. Let us pause here for a second because one of the most beautiful things about breastfeeding is how it's not just about feeding, it's about connection. Every gaze, every little hand resting on your chest, every heartbeat syncing with yours, it's communication beyond words. You're not just nourishing your baby's body, you're nurturing their sense of safety and love. Now, let's move to positioning, one of the most overlooked yet important aspects of breastfeeding properly. There's no single right position. It depends on your comfort, your baby's age, and sometimes even the time of day. But let's go over a few that tend to work best for new moms. The cradle hold is the most classic one, where your baby lies across your chest, supported by your arm. It's wonderful for full-term babies who can already control their head a little. Then there's the cross-cradle hold, a variation that gives you more control, especially helpful when you're still learning to latch your newborn. You'll hold your baby with the opposite arm from the breast you're feeding on, giving your other hand the freedom to guide your breast and help your baby latch. If you've had a C-section, the football hold, where your baby is tucked under your arm like a football, can be a lifesaver. It keeps pressure off your incision and gives you great visibility to check the latch. And for nighttime feeds, the side-lying position can be your best friend. You and your baby lie on your sides facing each other, with your baby close enough that they can easily reach the breast. This position allows you to rest while keeping feeding calm and cozy, especially during those late night hours when you both need comfort and closeness. Once you've found a position that feels right, pay attention to your baby's signals. Watch for early hunger cues, smacking lips, turning their head from side to side, or bringing their hands to their mouth. These are gentle invitations that say, "Mom, I'm ready." Try to feed before your baby cries. Crying is a late hunger cue, and once they're upset, it can make latching more difficult. Another key part of breastfeeding properly is understanding the flow of your milk. In the beginning, your body produces colostrum, a golden nutrient-rich liquid that's packed with antibodies. It's thick, concentrated, and designed perfectly for your baby's tiny stomach. Within a few days, your milk will transition to a more mature, thinner consistency, and that's completely normal. As your baby feeds regularly, your body learns to adjust the supply according to their needs. One thing to remember, breastfeeding works on a supply-and-demand system. The more your baby nurses, the more milk your body makes. So, don't worry if your baby wants to feed often, especially in the first few weeks. Cluster feeding, when your baby seems to feed more frequently during certain times of the day, is normal. It helps boost your milk supply and gives your baby comfort during growth spurts. Now, let's talk about what to do after feeding. Gently burp your baby to release any swallowed air. You can do this by holding them upright against your chest or sitting them on your lap with gentle pats on their back. This small step helps reduce discomfort and gas. And after that, give yourself a moment to relax. Check your breasts for any soreness, fullness, or blocked ducts. Applying a warm compress or massaging gently before feeds can help prevent engorgement and keep milk flowing smoothly. If breastfeeding ever feels overwhelming, please remember, you are not failing. Every breastfeeding journey is unique. Some moms find it smooth from the start. Others face challenges like soreness, low supply, or fatigue. But with support, patience, and the right techniques, it gets easier. Truly. We'll continue in the next section with more practical tips. How to know your baby is getting enough milk. How to manage discomfort, and when to seek help if things don't feel right. But before we move on, just take a deep breath and remember you're doing something incredible. You're learning, adapting, and loving your baby in one of the most natural, nurturing ways possible. Let us continue right where we left off, now that you've learned the basics of positioning, latching, and finding comfort while breastfeeding. Let's focus on what happens next. How to know your baby is feeding well, how to care for your body during this journey, and how to manage common challenges with grace and patience. One of the biggest questions every new mom asks is, how do I know if my baby is getting enough milk? It's a natural worry after all. You can measure how much your baby drinks from your breast the way you can with a bottle. But your baby has a way of telling you, if you know what to look for. In the early weeks, watch for signs of satisfaction after feeding. When your baby is full, they'll release the breast on their own. Their little hands will relax, and they'll often look calm and sleepy. Another reliable indicator is diaper output. In the first few days, expect about 1 wet diaper per day of life, then by day 5, at least 5 to 6 wet diapers and 2 or more bowel movements a day. The stool will gradually change from dark, tar-like meconium to a mustard yellow seedy texture, a healthy sign that milk is being digested well. You'll also notice steady weight gain over the weeks. It's completely normal for newborns to lose a small amount of weight in the first few days after birth, but by 2 weeks, most babies should return to their birth weight. If your baby is alert, active when awake, and content after most feeds, that's your reassurance that things are going beautifully. Now, let's talk about something that every mom faces at some point: discomfort. Breastfeeding is natural, but that doesn't mean it's effortless. If you experience nipple soreness, don't panic. It often happens when your baby's latch isn't quite right. Try repositioning, ensuring your baby takes in more of the areola. Keep your nipples dry between feeds and let a few drops of breast milk air dry on them. Your milk actually has healing properties that soothe and protect. If you notice your breasts feeling overly full or firm, what we call engorgement, that's your body adjusting to your baby's feeding rhythm. A warm compress before feeding and a cool compress afterward can ease the discomfort. Gentle massage and frequent feeding help release the pressure and prevent blocked ducts. Sometimes, a blocked duct can feel like a small, tender lump. If left untreated, it can lead to mastitis, an infection that causes redness, pain, and fever. If you ever feel these symptoms, it's important to rest, continue breastfeeding, and contact your healthcare provider. Remember, continuing to nurse is often part of the treatment. Your baby's suction helps clear the blockage. And speaking of challenges, one that surprises many moms is cluster feeding, when your baby suddenly wants to nurse every hour or so. It can be exhausting, especially in the evenings, but it's usually a sign that your baby is going through a growth spurt. Your body will naturally respond by producing more milk to meet their needs. So, try to rest when you can, stay hydrated, and remind yourself that this phase won't last forever. Another common concern is the fear of low milk supply. Many mothers worry they're not producing enough, but often, that's not the case. The best way to maintain a healthy supply is to nurse frequently, ensure a deep latch, and keep yourself nourished and hydrated. Eat balanced meals, drink water throughout the day, and get as much rest as possible. Even short naps make a difference. If you truly feel your supply is low, consider doing skin-to-skin contact more often. It helps stimulate the hormones responsible for milk production. Avoid supplementing with formula unless advised by a healthcare professional, as it can reduce the frequency of nursing and, in turn, lower your supply. Now, let's touch on something equally important: your emotional well-being. Breastfeeding can be a deeply emotional experience. Some days, it feels magical. Other days, it's tiring or even discouraging. You might feel guilty when things don't go as planned, or frustrated when feeding feels difficult. But please, be gentle with yourself. You're not failing, you're learning. It's perfectly okay to seek support. Reach out to a lactation consultant, join a local breastfeeding group, or talk to other moms who've been there. Sometimes, just hearing "I've been through that too" can make all the difference. And if breastfeeding ever becomes overwhelming, know that you have options. Whether you exclusively breastfeed, pump, or eventually transition to formula, what matters most is that your baby is loved and fed, and that you're healthy and at peace. Let's now talk about one of the most intimate parts of breastfeeding: the bond it creates. Every feed is an exchange of love. The warmth of your skin, the sound of your heartbeat, the way your baby looks up at you, all of this becomes part of their earliest memories of safety and connection. These moments may seem small, but they build the foundation of trust and attachment that lasts a lifetime. Over time, you'll notice your breastfeeding sessions changing. They may become shorter, more efficient, and your baby might get easily distracted as they grow curious about the world. That's normal too. Some babies wean gradually on their own, while others need gentle encouragement. When the time comes, weaning can be handled slowly and with compassion, substituting one feeding at a time, offering comfort in other ways, and remembering that the emotional connection between you and your baby goes far beyond breastfeeding. Before we close, let's reflect on what we've learned. Proper breastfeeding isn't about getting everything perfect. It's about creating moments of closeness, learning from trial and error, and trusting your instincts as a mother. You already have what it takes. You're doing something incredibly beautiful, nourishing your baby while also nurturing your own confidence and strength. So, the next time you sit down to breastfeed, take a deep breath, feel your baby's tiny hand against your chest, their steady sucking rhythm, their contented sigh as they drift off. Those are the moments that remind you, you're enough, you're doing it right. And in the next video, we'll explore 7 natural ways to boost milk supply after birth. Practical tips to help you feel more confident and supported as your breastfeeding journey continues. You won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel Breastfeeding Tips. Every week, we share trusted, heartfelt guidance to help moms feel more empowered, connected, and cared for on this journey of motherhood.